And how's it going, everyone? So today's one is all about the proposed changes for exams that are scheduled to take place in May and June of 2022. Now, you may or may not be aware of the fact that Ofqual have released an update, which was a few weeks ago. You know, I've been pondering over it. Could explain my hiatus on YouTube for that. Realistically, the reason I haven't actually updated you guys is purely because of the fact that of just how vague this update has been. And look, from past experience, I can tell you that, you know, everything that Ofqual have stated hasn't already resembled into what they followed up on. And based on that, I actually waited to see whether there'll be any other further updates to kind of like, you know, inform you guys, but there actually hasn't been. And the next actual projected update will be in February of 2022. Now, I seem to think that's quite a little bit too far along the line to be kind of like telling you guys about how your exams are going to unfold. So I thought in the meantime, I'll give you my sort of like expertise, shall I call it, and give you my thoughts in terms of what you guys should realistically be expecting for your exams in 2022. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So I know many of you are very eager and keen to know, if it's not the vast majority of you, then it's literally all of you, that whether exams will be going ahead in May 2022. And the answer to that question is, well, of course they are. Why would they not be, guys? Exams are scheduled to be going ahead for next year. You know, and I know many of you would be thinking that, well, you know, that's what was stated last year, and then in the end it was actually, you know, cancelled again. However, this year I don't think the same thing will be unfolding. In fact, in my opinion, it's, you know, there's like a 0.1% chance of exams getting cancelled again. The reason for that is pure and simple because of the fact of the way that the government is sort of acting, I suppose, in that sense. The circumstances are very different. You know, back then 2 years ago, you know, we were dealing with this pandemic and there wasn't any vaccine, there wasn't any solution to anything out there to how to deal with this thing. But now look, even though COVID rates may be going up, the government doesn't look like it's in a position where it wants to try and hold back or halt any of the sort of, if you want to call it, progression that's taking place, unless there's a super duper variant of some sort, you know, then it's unlikely that exams getting cancelled again. That's not me trying to favor whether exams go ahead or not go ahead. You know, I'm not siding with any side right now. Based on the landscape that we can see in front of us right now, I would say that exams are most probably likely to go ahead. So if I was in your position, I wouldn't be holding false hope for exams to be cancelled. On that basis, in my mind, I will be preparing like exams are about to take place. Not just that, guys. Right now, I mean, if you guys go ahead and follow me on Insta, you'll see that I put up polls and news and updates where you guys can see what's taking place. And I tend to, it's a lot more quicker than making a YouTube video. So I would recommend that if you want up-to-date exam advice, then, you know, go and check me out on there as well. What I would also say following this document that has come out is that, let's say if exams were to be cancelled, then what that does is, and this is what Ofqual are already suggesting, is that schools and teachers are being told to try and keep a record of how students are performing in class tests, mock exams, you know, homework, classwork, and all of these things, purely on the basis that should exams get cancelled, then there will be much more of an emphasis for these assessments to be able to determine a grade. If, you know, even if you're thinking at the back of your mind that, and you're wishful and hopeful that exams won't be taking place, that now means that, you know, more emphasis will be placed on your assessments. You need to be proving to your teachers, trying to, you know, have strong performances. If you don't want official exams to take place, then don't fall into the trap thinking that your teachers are just going to predict you with substantial grades, therefore you don't have to put in any of the work. The truth is, as you've probably seen from previous years, not everyone has been favored from these situations, and that's why, you know, maybe sitting exams, and especially in the way that they're being proposed for next year, may not actually be a bad thing after all. So another thing that I want to sort of expand upon, obviously everybody's aware of the fact that, look, this thing out there, people are still going to be contracting COVID at the end of it. And Ofqual in this document have stated that thing, and this is probably one of the changes, and probably a positive change in my opinion. The exams will now be spaced out, where the papers will be sequenced out, having 10 days apart at least, between each paper sitting. What that basically means, in the past, you can sit a paper 1 and then within 2 or 3 days you can sit a paper 2. Now with this new sort of contingency in place, you'll sit a paper 1 in one particular subject, and then you won't be sitting the second paper without having a space of 10 days in between. This will allow people to sit a paper, and if they have to miss one, they will at least end up sitting one paper where an estimated grade can be awarded from not just your performance in class tests, but also your performance from the test as well. So this is like a combination, sort of a way of trying to determine a grade overall. So based on that, I seem to think that that's a pretty good way of like showing a little bit of progression. When it comes to Ofqual, my opinion of them is very limited because of the fact that they're not very proactive. But over the past 2 years, I feel as though now they're starting to make moves in the right direction. I mean, what do you guys think of it? Drop a comment down below and let's see where you guys all stand with this. Now, the next proposal that they've actually made, they will notify students in schools of what topics and areas that students will be tested upon, but they're going to be doing that in February, which only gives a couple of months before the actual exams take place. So my question, and this is why I feel as though this is a little bit confusing, what are you expected to do between now and then? Obviously, they're expecting you guys, schools and teachers, to be teaching the entire syllabus because they're not specifying what should be taken out. So that basically means by the time February comes around, your teachers and you guys are having to learn the entire spec, and then suddenly they're stating that they may take certain things out. That there, I'm sure some smart ones have already seen, creates a little bit of a conflict of interest, in my opinion, purely because of the fact that not only can it put certain people at a disadvantage, because if they do take certain things out, there could be certain students that have learned that really well. And not just that, also overall, as you guys know, some schools teach things in a certain way that another school doesn't. So like I say, that could leave room for, again, unfairness and inequality to sort of take place. What I would like to see is that if they adopted more of an open approach, meaning that instead of taking things out, why not offer more options in the questions? So like, for example, some people would have learned certain areas a little bit more and thereby will have more options. So if there's a weaker topic or area that you're not so familiar with, then you can concentrate on those questions. This is my opinion. I simply think that would be the most fairest approach. I know they'll be providing equation sheet, but effectively, how much is that really going to help you guys? I know on the surface of it, it sounds like, yeah, great, but realistically, a lot of the times, most students already know those formulas and know how to use it. I don't personally think that's a good move. I mean, you guys can let me know what you think down below. I hope you found this one useful. By all means, if you want to get more updates with regards to this, then make sure to get subscribed to the channel. On that note, guys, my name is Amin and I will catch up with you another time.